Hello and welcome to part 2 of our two-part series on point and figure charts. Today we're going to look at some more advanced features. We're going to cover the volume indicators, chart scaling, overlays, and predefined chart styles. So chartists can add volume to a point and figure chart by scrolling down to the chart attributes section, and there you will see volume off or separate. And I'm going to choose separate. And I'm also going to color the columns so we can see how these look together, because this is a really great way to chart. So you can see that the O columns are red, they're falling, and the volume bars are red as well, falling. And then you can see the up columns, the X columns are black, and the volume is black. And there's a big volume column, and there's another big volume column, and a breakout. So this is a very good way to complement your P&F analysis by adding volume. Now let's look at the different scaling techniques available. The default is set at traditional scaling, and on P&F charts that means up to $20 would be at 50 cents a box. You can see here that this one is at $1 a box. Anything from $20 a share to $100 a share would be at $1 per box. Above 100 would be $2 per box, and so on. You can easily change these settings by going down to the chart scaling section. There's a drop-down menu there, and you can see you have percentage, dynamic ATR, or user defined. Percentage means you can set the percentage for each box. So if I wanted 1%, I put 1.0. If I wanted 0.5%, I would put 0.50. And you can also change the reversal amount, but I'm just going to leave it at 3 for now. And if I click update, you can see that that chart is going to refresh, and now we have less than $1 per box, and you can see that it is 1% for each box. So the absolute number does change because it is a percentage, but the general chart still looks the same. Now chartists can also set a dynamic scaling with the average true range. And the reason we say dynamic is because that scale is going to change as the average true range changes. So again, we go down to chart scaling. I'm going to select dynamic average true range. You can set the ATR period. I'm going to leave it at 20, and I'm going to click update. And so when you look at this chart, you can see it's currently 1.34 points per box. Currently is the key word, because if we did this chart back in the beginning of 2014 or even a couple months ago, the scaling would be different because the ATR would be different. So how do we find out the ATR value? Well, we would go to a Sharp chart to do that. And here is a Citrix Sharp chart, and I've put the ATR indicator below, 20 days. And you can see it's currently at 1.34. But if we go to say early February, you can see that that value is going to be closer to 1.7. And you can see how that's reflected on a chart if we adjust the date. So what if we put this date back to February 2nd and click update? There you can see that the average true range is 1.69, which is close to 1.7 that we showed on that Sharp chart. So keep in mind that if you're using dynamic ATR, those box sizes are going to change, and the breakouts, the signals, the look of the chart could change as well. Now the next option is user defined, and you can see that this chart here is $1 per box, and it goes back to the end of 2012. If we wanted to have a little more detail and a shorter time frame, we could cut that to 50 cents. So if you go down to the chart scaling, you pick user defined, and we'll change that to 50 cents. And you click update. And you can see that now this chart goes back to April 2014, a much shorter time frame, and each box is 50 cents. Now let's look at the overlays that you can put on a point and figure chart. If you go down to the bottom, you will see the overlays section. And there are 6 different overlays. We've already seen trend lines, and I'm just going to add a few simple ones to show you. I'm going to put the reversal marker on. I'm going to put a price plot on, and I'm going to put moving averages. And you can set the moving average length as you want. I'll just put it at 10 periods. And we'll click Update to see what those look like on the chart. So here's the price plot at the top. And then you can see the moving average in blue. And this is basically a moving average of the middle point of each column. So a 10-period moving average would be the average of the middle point of the last 10 columns. And then we can see the reversal marker. And that is green because it will require an upside reversal. So we've come down with the 3 O's in the O column and would take 3 X's up to 62 to reverse that column that's moving down right now. All right, and there are 2 more indicators to show you, and we can put them on, I think, at the same time. We're going to put on the Bollinger Bands and price by volume. And since we're adding volume, I'll just go ahead and add volume to this chart as a separate indicator. And we'll click Update, and we will get all this information on the price chart. So there are the Bollinger Bands, and there is the price by volume. The red part represents downside volume, or O's. The darker one, gray, represents upside volume, or X's. And finally, let's look at the predefined settings and how they work. Just below this point and figure chart, you'll see chart styles and predefined settings. And we have created a number of predefined settings, and you can choose any one of these and it'll automatically go to that setting. So let's try voluminous. Has something to do with volume, I would think, and indeed it does. So this is the voluminous setting, and if you want to see exactly how that is laid out, you can go down to the bottom of the chart, and there you can see its percentage scaling. You have price plot, price by volume, and moving average on there. If you really like this setting and you want to make it your default setting, you can click Save as Default. So I will click that button, and that will now be my default chart setting for point and figure charts. So if I go up to the top and I create a point and figure chart for, say, Tesla, it will be in that setting. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these settings, but I'd recommend you look through these, find out which one you like, save it as your default, and use that for your point and figure charting. And that concludes part 2 of our 2-part series on point and figure charting. Keep in mind, if you need any further help, just go down below the chart and there is a link for instructions, and that will tell you everything you need to know about point and figure charting.